This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 819. 3 Ways to Beat Executive Dysfunction and Boost Productivity, Part 1, by the NeuroGym team of myneurogym.com. And I am your narrator, Dan, and I'm with you every single day reading from some great blogs on entrepreneurship. Got a little bit of a longer post today, so I'm going to read the first half right now and then finish up the rest for you tomorrow. So let's get right to part 1 of the post as we optimize your life. 3 Ways to Beat Executive Dysfunction and Boost Productivity, Part 1, by the NeuroGym team of myneurogym.com. Have you ever sat down to work but found yourself staring at the computer screen for hours instead? Or have you ever created a to-do list but found yourself procrastinating all day regardless? Executive dysfunction is a productivity killer, but dealing with it doesn't mean you're doomed to fail. Millions of people deal with executive dysfunction every year, but most don't even realize they have it. While medical conditions, such as ADHD, can cause executive dysfunction, many of those struggling are victims of bad habits around focus and time management. Luckily, learning to form good habits can help you get back on track to reaching your full potential. If you're looking to improve your understanding of how executive dysfunction works, or for tips to help overcome it, listen on. What is executive dysfunction? Your professor tells you there's an essay due in 2 weeks. So you mark it on your calendar, start working on it early, and submit on time. You have a few hours to clean your house on Sunday morning before going out, so you get the most important tasks done first in case you run out of time. The manager at your new job tells you their name and where you can find supplies in the office, and you easily remember both pieces of information the next day. What do these tasks have in common? All 3 use executive function, a group of cognitive processes that help us focus, learn, and get things done. But if those processes aren't working properly, the resulting struggles are called executive dysfunction. Have you ever worked through the night to finish an assignment that's due in the morning, even when you knew about it weeks in advance? Have you ever been overwhelmed by a to-do list with multiple tasks, even with plenty of time to do them? Do you find it hard to ignore distractions when you're trying to focus? If so, you might be dealing with executive dysfunction. Symptoms of executive dysfunction. Struggling with executive dysfunction does not mean you're stupid, lazy, or unreliable. People from all walks of life, even the most successful, deal with this frustrating barrier to productivity. And many people struggle with it without realizing they have it at all. Still not sure if you have this problem? Check out this list of symptoms. You procrastinate on time-sensitive tasks. You regularly get overwhelmed by your to-do list and find it hard to prioritize the most important tasks. You often misplace things or forget appointments or responsibilities. You often make simple mistakes at school, home, or work that you know how to avoid. You struggle to regulate emotions and stress, leading to extreme frustration and feelings of being overwhelmed when you have a lot on your plate. You struggle to stick to a schedule. You often abandon tasks before they're completed. You often start new tasks before finishing others. You struggle to ignore distractions when focusing. You forget to eat, shower, or take care of yourself in other ways. You find yourself zoning out when you should be paying attention. You forget simple and routine things, such as passcodes or coworkers' names. Or you're aware you struggle with things on this list, but your efforts to improve rarely work out. What causes executive dysfunction? The causes of executive dysfunction are as diverse as the people coping with it. Struggles with focus can indicate a medical issue, but bad habits can also be a major factor. One common cause of executive dysfunction is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, a complex disorder well known for its impact on focus. The stereotype of ADHD is a little boy who can't sit still in class, but people of any age and gender can be affected. In fact, many children with ADHD are never diagnosed, and there are likely millions of adults around the world living with undiagnosed ADHD right now. If you deal with executive dysfunction and also have problems with controlling impulses, navigating social interactions, or sitting still, consider scheduling an ADHD assessment with your doctor. Many people with ADHD find their quality of life improves drastically with therapy or medication. Mental illnesses such as PTSD, anxiety, and depression can also cause executive dysfunction. If you struggle with focus and also feel afraid, nervous, sad, on guard, or hopeless much of the time, an undiagnosed medical illness could be the culprit. As with ADHD, medical interventions can really change the lives of people with mental illnesses. When executive dysfunction appears in an adult who's never had it before, or when it suddenly becomes very severe, it can be a sign of Alzheimer's, dementia, or another serious condition that needs to be checked out ASAP. If executive dysfunction is impeding your day-to-day life or your career, or if you're worried for any reason, there's no shame in reaching out for help. A doctor can look into whether there's a health issue at play and refer you to a specialist for evaluation and treatment. 3 simple ways to boost your executive functioning. Not everyone who struggles to focus has a medical problem. Years of bad habits can also cause executive dysfunction. This is good news. Kicking a habit is hard, but not impossible. Thanks to evolutionary pressure, our brains are always calculating ways to minimize the energy we expend in order to maximize our returns. If procrastinating has worked out in the past, you're more likely to do it again than to take initiative the next time you have a deadline to meet. Once you've reinforced procrastination as a habit, it's hard to break. Do you find you regularly let tasks pile up until you're overwhelmed? If so, you're probably not trying to live this way. Repeatedly slipping down that well-worn path to procrastination can be very discouraging when you're trying to avoid it. Don't worry, you're not a bad worker, and you're not alone. Here, we've included 3 simple ways to get back on the road to success. Hear those on tomorrow's episode. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled 3 Ways to Beat Executive Dysfunction and Boost Productivity by the NeuroGym team of myneurogym.com. And thank you to the NeuroGym team for this post today and for part 2 tomorrow. NeuroGym's team of experts consists of neuroscientists, researchers, and staff who are enthusiasts in their fields. NeuroGym applies scientifically proven methods and technologies for helping people expand their mental and emotional power to reach their fullest potential. Their mission is to be the leading provider of life-transforming technology, products, and services to help individuals and corporations maximize their performance and potential. You can check out all of their great content, plus programs and much more at myneurogym.com. All right, that does it for today here on Optimal Startup Daily. Hope you are having a great day. Thanks so much for being here. And I'll be back with you tomorrow to wrap up this 2-parter, and that is where your optimal life awaits.